What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the live, man. It's been a lot going on, y'all. It's been a very interesting time, y'all. Let me tell you about it. I'm talking about crazy stuff going on, man. If y'all been following my timeline, y'all know what I'm talking about. Trying to get my angles right. Real quick, though. Yeah, it's been a lot going on, man. I just had my first court case, but I'm not gonna start with that yet. I'm gonna let y'all get in here a little bit before I go into that. But yeah, I just had my first case pro se, and I'm proud of myself to say the least. But let's let people get a chance to get in here. We only at 1 minute. I'm gonna share the live out. Let some people see what's up before we start telling the truth. We're gonna treat this live as a we're going to treat this live um wow, where did she go? Okay, here she is. But yeah, I'm gonna treat this live as an opportunity to continue to share the knowledge, man. It's amazing how this social media stuff is. I know I came and I told y'all a story last week about a gentleman that I ran into when I was on my pro se grind. Turns out I have a potential client, out of that. Hold on, I'm starting to interfere. Yeah, it turns out I may have a potential client because of that. Thanks for joining the live, y'all. Let me finish sharing it. So yeah, uh, I went down there and did my thing, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. And this ain't just cause it was me. This is knowing my situation as far as me. I'm educated. I have my master's degree. I have my bachelor's and my master's degree. Hey, what's up, Sissy? Thanks for joining the live. What's up, Darian W? Thanks for joining the live. So I'm educated. One thing about it for sure, I'm educated. Because whenever you're about to go pro se, they have a little trial for you. And the reason why I'm telling y'all this, y'all, the reason why I go live or post anything on social media is I'm trying to leave breadcrumbs for people that might be representing themselves. Because I've been running into a lot of people that are pro se representing themselves. And so I try to leave breadcrumbs for y'all so y'all can, if y'all ever be in this situation, y'all know how to handle it and everything like that. So they're going to see if you have any background education, right? Because that's going to see if you're able to keep up in court as far as what's going on. And so a lot of society will try to look at people of color, black people specifically, as uneducated. They think we're uneducated for some reason. Out of all the great stuff we can do in sports, in a split of a second where we have to make a decision to make something great happen, we do that all the time. But I guess they don't see that as genius. I guess they're looking for an IQ test or some type of like word or number test to evaluate your intelligence, which is crazy to me because we do great, genius stuff, intelligent stuff all the time with some of our ideas and then our creativity. But that's one thing that they check out is your education to see if you're educated. Hey, what's up, Mona Lisa? Thanks for joining the live. So yeah, that was one thing. The judge that allowed me to go pro se, he was he was impressed that I have my master's degree. A master's degree, as far as time wise, is about the same amount of time as what most lawyers go to school to get their Juris Doctorate, which is like your law degree, pretty much. I think they're probably in school one more year than somebody who got their master's degree, because master's is typically bachelor's, a couple more years master's, versus theirs is, their schooling and then law school, which takes about 3 years, I hear, 3 to 4 years, depending on how you're doing, how you're grasping the concept. And so, yeah, I went down there with my master's degree, just bearing my master's degree as far as my stamp of education. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, in this day and age, you don't even need that. You don't need a master's degree, especially when you're standing on the truth. You don't need no doggone master's degree. All you need is the truth for real. I'm saying that right now, and I was just cheated so bad, y'all. I'm about to give y'all the details. Let me share this. Let me share this live real quick so people can get in here and hear this truth. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they don't hear it on this live, I got a whole list of things I want to talk about to where I'll cut it up and make points about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna be like, spreading the word or whatever, on these type of situations, as I was saying, because a lot of people are going through things. Since I've been posting this, a lot of people have been coming to me like, yo, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Which is amazing to me because people need help in this day and age when we have access to information. Because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that's how lawyers get y'all. A lot of the people who are going through cases and things like that, um, where your lawyer has you beat is lack of information, or your lack of information. You know what I'm saying? They got a little more knowledge on laws, um, regulations, procedures, and that's huge. Everybody who may represent yourself, you need to know about procedures, and that's something that I did a lot of research on before I even went into that courtroom. Decided to represent myself. I had to know about procedures because I was talking to one of my Kappa brothers, and he was like, "Man, they might just try to be, slick or wicked on procedural stuff." So I immediately went and started doing research on procedure in the courtroom because it's very, very important. Very important. The procedural stuff. And I'm going to tell you why here in just in a second. Whenever you, what's up, 503? What's up, Samantha? Thanks for joining the live. Whenever you get in that courtroom, what they're looking to do is trick you. That's the number one thing the DA or the prosecutor, whoever's coming against you, hey, what's up, Carolyn? Thanks for joining the live, Caroline. Is they're trying to trick you. Them and the judge are trying to play a game with you. With the lingo, like the stuff that they'll be saying back and forth, and then like I said, the procedure, how things go or should go. So they're trying to trick you. I want y'all to know that off top. But hold on. Let's get started in the right fashion. Right? Hold on. I got something else for y'all too. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, y'all went down there prepared. I wasn't playing no game. Got the big Samsonite, briefcase. They was loving that. I walked in court with that. It was like, man, the young lawyers are bringing the briefcase back. They didn't know I'm pro se, y'all. They thought I was a lawyer by how I was carrying myself, how I was speaking. Hey, what's up, Gold Ranger? They thought I was a lawyer. I had people in the elevator asking me questions, like law questions, just because of how I was presenting myself. So check this out, y'all. We're going to get to that in just a second. We just want to have that right there for real. Hold on, let me make sure I got all my stuff in order. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna get to it. Believe that. Believe that. We're going to get to it. I'm missing something. Hold on. Let me go get something else. Y'all want to be organized too. Whenever y'all doing y'all thing, what's up, Sean? Thanks for joining the live. Y'all want to be organized. Y'all want to have y'all stuff somewhat organized as far as your documents, especially your court documents, important stuff, motions, affidavits, things of that nature, right? You want to have your stuff organized. But we're gonna get to that in a second, right? Because we got some stuff to talk about, right? They tried to slime your boy out for real, for real. No funny stuff. So check this out, y'all. I was in there for over 4 hours. This is my first time representing myself in my life ever, I promise. I stood in that paint for 4 hours. Y'all can go look at the court records, ask anybody that was there. I stood in that paint on good information for 4 hours, y'all. Tough. Hey, I give myself a hand because I don't know anybody who's not a lawyer who does something like that. What's up, Clipper Queen? Thanks for joining the live. I'm in there professionally and I'm in there prepared for 4 hours, y'all. No exaggeration. I wasn't in there. It wasn't just like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like some 30-minute ordeal. I was thorough in my presentation, you know? And speaking of thorough, let me show y'all how thorough, right? I'm gonna show y'all I didn't go down there just off the muscle. You know what I'm saying? I still got the muscle, but I didn't go down there just off the muscle. I went down there prepared, y'all. Check me out, y'all. Hold on, let me get it out. Right? I went down there prepared. Yeah, let me show y'all what we got into. Let me show y'all how things went, right? Because I was really, really serious, y'all. I was not playing with them, y'all. Look at all of these documents. This ain't no play, y'all. Y'all see highlighter and all that on there? We was really getting down through there for real. See what I'm saying? Right? That's trial strategy, cheat sheet, pro se trial, cheat sheet, key issues and arguments to make. This is a witness statement breakdown. All of that, y'all. I was so prepared. Believe me, like, I wish there was footage. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of footage, it's something real dark and shady about these courthouses. Let me tell y'all a little story, right? I'm in the courtroom. I walk in, you know, no one's there on time because court was scheduled for 1:30 p.m. There's no one in there. So I start setting up my stuff, and then the DA walks in like she's acting weird. Her name is Daphne Wheat. She walks in acting weird. So I'm like, okay. And then I'm checking my phone. I put my phone down. She says, "Are you recording?" And storms out the courtroom, right? She's doing the tattle. These are adults we dealing with, y'all. They're so immature. These people are so immature. Hey, what's up, Adarius? What's up, Tex Lecker? What's up, Nick Jagger? So immature. She storms out like a kid, I guess goes to the judge's chamber and tries to make a point that I'm recording. The point I'm making to y'all is that shouldn't be a problem if we're dealing with the truth. You shouldn't be worried about being exposed if it's true and honest and things like that. The only time somebody doesn't want to be exposed is when it's some shady business, the lies, deception. That's when they don't want to be recorded. And I'm in Oklahoma, a one-party state where you don't need consent from another party. But short thereafter, I'm sitting in there still preparing. The judge walks in on her tangent. "Oh yeah, I need you to raise your right hand. You got to say you can't record. The only recording will be the court record." They talking about the only recording will be the court record. What's up, Mom? What's up, me, Mom? What's up, Tom? Thanks for joining the live. Which is shady, y'all. Because like I said, if we're dealing in the light, you know, doing things the right way. What's up, McLovin? Thanks for joining the live. That should be allowed. It should be allowed to record just in case of things like this. Because I, by and by, I have caught the judge and the DA planning to have a meeting outside of court. And a lot of y'all don't know that's not supposed to happen. That should already be a problem because if the judge is meeting with the DA. I'm supposed to be present since I'm representing myself. So they were doing a whole bunch of shady stuff and trying to hide it. And I'm making that point because I want to chop that up later that something needs to be done about that. It should be allowed to record. The judge is talking about, yeah, if the recording gets out, it's going to be a felony. I'm like, as soon as he said that before court, I already knew he was planning to do some shady stuff. Because why are you trying to hide? Why are you trying to hide it? You know, that's how it comes off. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, you know, speaking of documentation. So check this out, y'all. And this is for educational purposes. This is a quick hitter sheet, right? It has your objections. It has your emotions, things of that nature, things that you might want to, you know what I'm saying, talk about in court. But you want to have that right in front of you, ready to go. I had that ready. I had my opening statement. Y'all see I'm not playing? That's a page full right there. Opening statement, solid too. Y'all screenshot to read that. That's some good information. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm bringing up these documents, I'm showing y'all I was prepared because it leads into my next point. More documentation. You know, this was one of my defense cheat sheets. Multiple documents. You get what I'm saying? I was ready. I'm ready. You know, preparedness, you know what I'm saying, is a part of it in everything in life, especially if you're trying to be successful. Thanks for joining the live, Nicole Joe. Cross-examination questions. 2 pages full, y'all. Cross-examination questions for the liars. I mean, the witnesses. And then something else is weird how the judge will allow, and I'm not sure if this happens in every courtroom, because there was a lot of home cooking going on down there in Shady County. Yeah, Shady County. That's what we calling y'all now. What's up, Jammer? Thanks for joining the live. The judge is literally seeing them lies, because you can kind of see a twitch when somebody lies. What's up, Mel? Thanks for joining the live. They would tell a lie or not answer a question. I would look at the judge like, Judge, can we get a clear answer? And the judge would just be okay with it. I'm sure it's not like that in every courtroom. Like I said, they were doing some home cooking down there. More questions for another one of the liars? I mean, witnesses? Gotta have your witness questions, 2 pages. Judge was allowing them to go around questions, not answer them. Hey, what's up, Alex? Thanks for joining the live. More questions for liars? I mean, for the witnesses? I thought perjury was a thing, y'all. The way that the judge was allowing them to lie on the stand, perjury can't be a real thing. Y'all go. I'm dropping the court record soon. The documentation from the case of what happened that day. So y'all be able to see in full detail what was said and everything like that. And this was my closing statement. Prepared, y'all. I came prepared. You know, amongst other things. I'm gonna show y'all some more stuff I got, you know, that I brought down there with me. But I'm just showing y'all this to show y'all that I was prepared and the type of level that you want to be on, you know. More documentation, some notes and things like that. You know, it's good to have that. You know, when you're standing on the truth. And that's the worst part. I'm standing on the truth, y'all. I shouldn't need any of this. I should just be able to get in there and tell the truth and that be it. But the injustice system, we're gonna call it what it is. After this experience and former experiences we've heard about people of color in the injustice system, I know for sure that it is an injustice system. At one point, it's no longer about right or wrong, it's about money. They're trying to get money out of you for fees, taxes, things like that. It's a big scam. A lot of gatekeeping going on also. Let me talk to y'all about gatekeeping real quick. If y'all ever going through this, do not be discouraged. You're going to run into gatekeepers everywhere. In the courthouse, i.e. the secretaries, the deputy clerks, they're all gatekeepers. They're all trying to block you. They're all trying to discourage you. And I'm telling y'all this, I have multiple recordings where I'm just going up to file some paperwork and they immediately start with questions. But they're misleading questions. They're not like trying to lead you in the right direction. It's more so trying to confuse you. What's up, Tina? What's up, Hot 12? Thanks for joining the live. So y'all beware of the gatekeepers. You know, they move in a real evil fashion, so do not be discouraged. You know, use that as motivation that you're doing the right thing. That's how I look at it. Whenever I was running to those gatekeepers, I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. You know, I'm headed in the right direction because why are you trying to block me? You know, just had a terrible experience at the Oklahoma Supreme Court. Because, of course, I'm expecting, you know, terrible treatment down there in Shady County. They so crooked. Of course, I'm not expecting anybody to be honest and, you know what I mean, a good person. What's up, T? What's good, Momo? Thanks for joining the live. And so, I didn't expect that same treatment here in the city. Y'all have to realize, people of color, I'm talking to y'all right now. Y'all aren't gonna run into a bunch of people that look like you in these instances. You know, you're not. Thanks, Hot 12. Thanks for that. Thanks for that comment. You're not gonna run into a bunch of people that look like you. So I'm saying that to already give you a heads up on how things are kind of handled and the type of crowd that you're gonna deal with. So just be prepared. Don't be discouraged. Right. Back to my points. Right. Why I just showed y'all all that documentation. The DA, Daphne Wheat, who went against me in this case, was so unprepared. So many moments. What's up, Sarah? What's up, I mean? So many moments just left hanging, not saying anything, not having any points. No direct evidence, y'all. I'm sitting there talking to the judge like, if they have no direct evidence, she has one of her witnesses on the stand lying about a. I've been looking for a video, y'all. I went to the school. I've contacted everybody for a video of this situation because it'll shed light on the situation. Tell me why she has one of her witnesses on the stand, lying, talking about they have a video now. This has been going on for about 3 years, and the judge takes a fake pause because I can read realness. Like I can tell when somebody's being authentic, genuine. The judge was just up there faking, acting. It was just so transparent. Oh, you mean to tell me you got a video? Y'all, when y'all dealing with somebody that has that country redneck accent, y'all gotta already know it's not good. They're not reasonable people. They have an ulterior motive. They kind of have a prejudice when they're like from the country like that. Like a lot of shady county people are like country farming, type people like that. They talk like that. It was a whole lot of talking like this going on the whole case. I'm talking about from the witnesses to the judge. All of them had that country accent. You know what I mean? Thanks, Mac. Thanks for joining the live. Thanks, man. But I'm jokingly using their accent because it was a whole lot of that redneck stuff going on down there. A whole lot of it, I'm telling you. So I already knew what time it was. So, DA poorly prepared. Y'all gonna see on the court records. Excuse me, Judge. Can I have a minute? Oh, sorry, Judge. I'm sorry about that. And the reason why they was unprepared because they're standing on lies. That's why you're unprepared. You're trying to come up with something. You're trying to make something up versus I'm just standing on the truth. I'm telling it like it is. So check this out. Y'all should beware of the signs when you're dealing with a judge and it feels like you're arguing with the judge also. Back to this home cooking they was doing in Shady County. Right? I'm sitting there trying to make a point and then the judge is coming against me. I'm looking over at him, and this is the same judge I made complaints about. He was being hostile, argumentative, combative. Our first encounter. I'm sitting there trying to talk to the bailiff. He hops on the phone trying to talk noise. I'm like, who even put you on the case? I thought it was going to be Judge Kirkland, the one who seen the truth and changed things, but for some reason they sent me to somebody else. Hey, what's up, user? These are a lot of fake pages coming on because they see I'm telling this truth. So check it out. We're going to stay on the truth forever. It feels like I'm going back and forth with the judge. Red flag, y'all. What's good? Nobody. Thanks for joining the live. What's good, Burr? Thanks for joining the live. That's a red flag, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to that. Because at that point, you should know that you have to do something else, right? It's not just the truth that they're looking for. It's favoritism, political home cooking going on. I'm a pro se lawyer stepping into their court prepared, outperforming their prosecutor. They can't. This is their home. What I was equating this to was basketball, right? Because I just have to equate it to life experiences that I had. And in basketball, whenever you played against somebody on their court, it was expected that you were going to take hard fouls. You were going to get as many fouls or calls and things like that because it's called home cooking, meaning they're trying to give their self an advantage to win. So I noticed right away when I'm making objections and he's denying my objections. You know what I mean? I'm like, for the record, defendant objects to the court's ruling. And you know what I'm saying? We want to reserve this for appeal. Just because, I'm coming with some good objections. I'm objection, hearsay, objection, speculation, objection, evidence, she's trying to come with some evidence that's not in record, I'm hitting them with everything. Objection, relevance, objection, prejudice. You know what I'm saying? I'm hitting them with good, fitting objections that were on that page I just showed y'all. Judge denying them all, but I learned well because right after that, I'm automatically saving that for appeal because I'm like, okay, you're not trying to hear me at that point, and I'm telling y'all these points so y'all can later know how to use this stuff. So I'm in that courtroom. It's just me, y'all. I'm going against the prosecutor, the judge, the lawyers. I mean, the witnesses. It was all of their people in the courtroom. I'm literally looking back at a photographic memory, and all of their people was in there. From there, like police guys to their people. Hey, what's up? Hey man, thanks for joining the live and everything like that. So it's all their people in there. So still no fear because I'm standing on the truth, right? I'm standing on the truth. Y'all can have 100 of y'all's people in here. I'm still gonna tell this truth. Yeah. So check it out. Thanks for joining the live, Connor. Okay, so I don't know if I told y'all that the judge and the DA had a secret meeting without me being present. He aligned with everything that the crooked DA was saying. What's up, Ebby the Gemini? What's up, G3? He aligned with everything that crooked DA was saying. I'm talking about complete lies, bogus stuff, some impossible stuff, and he's just like, oh well, that's their answer. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm gonna release those court transcripts. Y'all stay tuned. They coming soon. Um, Another big point of them cheating me and how I knew they were going to cheat me is they didn't allow me a jury after changing judges. Now, I was coerced into signing away my jury trial, right? Because it seemed to be like an honorable judge at the time. I feel like he might see the truth. We might get more ground with Judge Kirkland. So I'm like, okay, bet, yeah. But I was misled, And then even after that, after saying that I was coerced into signing those things and doing all of that, and switching judges, they still didn't allow me a jury trial, which should have been a clear designation that, hey, we needed, things are new now, things are different now, so we need to reset things. And I knew when they didn't allow me a jury trial, they were about to do something shady, something evil, something unethical, and it was going to be prosecutorial misconduct. Um, they had no direct evidence. Witnesses lying on stand. Judge allowed it. When I asked for how he came to his verdict, because after all of this, it was a quick verdict. No deliberation. He didn't go to his chambers. He just asked the prosecutor something. The prosecutor said something. He asked me for my closing statement. I gave my great closing statement. You could tell he wasn't trying to hear it at all. And then immediately went to his verdict. And then after he gave a terrible verdict, y'all, I asked him, I'm saying, how do you come to your verdict? Because I have him on record. So at this point, we can see the truth. He starts turning red, y'all. He's looking down at his paper. He's no longer looking up. I'm like, how'd you come to the verdict? It fits the elements. So that's like he's willfully declining not to answer. Hey, what's up, Danny Phantom? Thanks for joining the live. He's willfully declining to answer because here we are in a court for people. You just made a verdict. Now stand on it by your why. Why did you come to that point? Because he has to come to a point beyond reasonable doubt. He can't just say, because it fits the elements. That's too vague. That's very vague. So I asked him that, and that looks great for appeal, though. Because it's like, what are you talking about? It fits the, and he did like this, it fits the elements. I was like, that's weird. Okay, anyhow, after all of that, he began to be provocative. He was saying little things like trying to nitpick. Because in this instance, people of color, Focus Drew, thanks for joining live. We're going to talk to everybody in this instance, right? Because we're talking about the legal system. So everybody goes through the legal system. They will try to provoke y'all, people of color, everybody. After giving a bad verdict, they will try to provoke you. It's the weirdest thing I ever seen. Very immature. So he starts to try to say little stuff on record, being provocative. Hey, what's up, Robin? What's up, Charles? Thanks for joining the live. So I'm sitting there looking like, nah, this shouldn't be. I've seen a lot of like court movies and TV shows and stuff. The judge shouldn't be allowed to give a bad verdict and then start trying to talk noise to you. What's up, Manny? Thanks for joining the live. That was very strange. But this is just showing their character. They've been behaving this shady, um, unethical, misconduct type of way the whole time. This is who they are. This is a group of bad people, you know. So immediately, after giving a vague reason, not trying to elaborate on his reasoning because it was poor reasoning, he had no evidence. He tries to talk noise, talking about some next time get a lawyer. Because I look at it like this, right? As somebody who didn't go to law school, I'm not a lawyer, per se, and I'm representing myself pro se, and I'm doing pretty good with the tools that I have and how I'm handling myself. They hate it. They hate it because they see their house of cards falling. With the access of information and AIs like ChatGPT, lawyers are going to lose their jobs soon. I don't know if y'all seeing it. Hey, what's up, Shasha? What's up, Millionaire Barber? Thanks for joining the live. But lawyers are soon going to lose their job. As soon as citizens can go around them blocking the information, because citizens, I'm telling you right now, that's all it is the lack of information. That's all it is, y'all. Get that knowledge and apply it. And a little documentation, knowing how to prepare these documents. But with different AIs, you don't need the lawyer anymore, y'all. And I feel like lawyers are seeing that, and even that judge seeing that. He was like, man, this young man came prepared, and he's not a lawyer? I stood in that paint for 4 hours professionally, y'all. Yeah. No exaggeration. 4 hours. We drop in the court record soon. So the judge hated to see that. Should have been loving to see a citizen stand up for his rights and what's right. He hated to see me doing that without having to pay these crook lawyers a bunch of money. That's the scam. That's how lawyers are where they are, or were where they are financially, when citizens didn't have access to this information and a way to get this documentation. It's over with for them. And that's why I'm doing this type of stuff, to let y'all know that y'all can do it without them. What they're going to try to do is try to do this shady stuff and lie like they did, cheat you and things like that, but there's ways around that. And every time we get a citizen that's standing up and doing that, we're getting closer and closer to knocking that house of cards down. Because it's a house of cards, y'all believe me. So after I learned that this was a money thing, this wasn't about the truth. After I seen they cheated me like that, they weren't prepared, lack of evidence, the judge trying to talk noise after a bad verdict. This wasn't about the truth. This wasn't about honor, integrity, none of that. This was about some evil people and then money, right? Because all he started saying was some fees for this and fees for that. And, I immediately started doing my research on, how to negate those fees, since they had this misclassified for over 2 years, y'all. So a lot of those fees that were assessed is when they were doing their whole prosecutorial misconduct thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that y'all trying to get. It's like they're trying to rob you at that point. We're gonna put a whole bunch of fees on, knowing you don't owe them, and then try to stick it to you. It's a shady game. It's an evil game that's going on with this law stuff. But we're gonna shed light on it. It'll be exposed. You know. Um, I outperformed their DA. I outperformed that prosecutor. I did, y'all. And y'all gonna see on the court records, which I'm dropping soon. The Oklahoma Supreme Court is gonna be sending out soon. Hey, what's up, Most Hated Tia? Thanks for joining the live. What's up, Chrissy? Thanks for joining the live. And so, y'all beware of this shadiness and darkness going on in these courtrooms. Take somebody with you. Record if you can. If they haven't put you into some type of record for your own safety and your records. What's up, Dave? Thanks for joining live. Because it's a reason they don't want you to record. It's something evil going on, like shadiness. You know what I'm saying? The good thing about this, since starting this journey, documenting and posting it online and everything like that, I've had multiple different people come up asking me for help. And I love that. Because what that shows me is they're getting away from those crooked lawyers that's trying to scam them. Lawyers are a scam, y'all. Let me tell y'all how to see if your lawyer's scamming you or not. If they will do something for you for free. That's how you know if a lawyer is scamming you or not. If they will do anything for you for free, whether it's paperwork, information. If they do some paperwork for you or some information for you, give you some knowledge for free, then they might be somebody worth dealing with. But if they're just immediately just begging for money and then you don't see any work being done, they still begging for money. You talk about, oh, I didn't get the payment. Get away from them and report them to the bar association and the attorney general's office. So I'm in at the point right now. I'm helping people, y'all. I have people to help now. You know, I can give them all the information that I've learned and what I'm continuing to learn. You know, and I feel like that's what it's about. And you know, I can really, this can really be something, just because of all of the neglect that's going on in the legal field with these shady lawyers and judges, y'all. We can do this. You know, if we stick together as citizens, we can knock down that house of cards. And I'm gonna stop there.